Softr just changed its pricing, and the response has been a bit mixed. Some people are saying that it's gone down in price, and some are saying that it's gotten a lot more expensive. Both are kind of true, which makes it a little bit harder to understand what's actually going on. Here's what actually happened. Softr didn't actually raise its prices or lower them. Instead, Softr changed what it charges you for. There are now 3 numbers that really matter when you're picking out your Softr account. It's not so much about features or what's included anymore. As long as you understand these 3 basic numbers, you'll know which plan you should be on and exactly what you should be paying every month. I'm going to break it all down in this video, including the part that gets a little bit tricky. So if you're ready to understand Softr's new pricing as of August 2026, stick around and let's get into it. Welcome to the channel. My name is Gareth, and this is Gap Consulting. It's our mission here to help you unlock the full potential of no-code tools, and Softr is one of our favorite no-code tools and has been for years. But let's be honest, this pricing shift has really shaken things up. It's completely revolutionized the way that you're looking at your Softr account and what you will be charged for. But before I get into the new pricing, I want to first call out that any old pricing plan that you were on before the pricing shift happened, all of those old pricing plans are still valid and active today. Your pricing does not change at all. What matters is anybody going forward, people who are signing up for Softr today for the first time or shifting into a new kind of packaging, a new planning. This might be worth your while because it might mean that you could shift into a cheaper package, but I'll get into that when we start breaking it down. First of all, let's call out the 3 numbers that matter the most, because these are the things that Softr completely changed the way it looked at. It used to just be one big bucket of users, app users, the people who got into your app and accessed it, but that is what has changed. So we have 3 core different user types now, and you have to be conscious of them because depending on how many users you need, you'll have to upgrade to the next tier. So what are those user types? Number 1, we have builders. Builders are the people on your team who actually log into Softr to build the app. That one's pretty easy. Number 2, we have team users. These are the people on your team who access the published app. They're actually logging into whatever the app is, whatever domain you put it on. Let's say it's yourapp.com. They log into the actual app, but here's the catch. What makes them a team user? It's the fact that they share a domain in their email address with the builders on the account. So, in my case, Gap Consulting, I've got people on my team who build in Softr. They are all the builders. Every one of those builders has a Gap Consulting email address. If other users access the app at yourapp.com and they log in with a Gap Consulting domain, they are going to be counted as team users. Number 3 is client users. These are people who are logging into the app that do not share that same email domain with the builders. And also note, of course, that anyone with a free email, like a Gmail, a Yahoo, one of those are going to be counted as client users as well. Now, why did Softr make this change? Well, because they realized that ultimately an app that has 8 internal users is not even in the same stratosphere as an app that was built to service 400 external users. And so Softr rightfully chose to instead repackage the way that they're selling their tiers so that depending on what you're building, if it's an external app or an internal app, that pricing shifts based on the way your users are interacting with it. So let's shift gears and actually look at the new pricing page, softr.io/pricing. Here it is, where you can see that we have the free forever tier. Softr has announced that they will never get rid of this. Anybody can start using Softr for free. Of course, there isn't a lot included with it, but it's something to get going. Then we have the basic plan. Now, by default, when this page loads, it's on the yearly 2 months off. This is only if you're paying once per year that you get 2 months comped in the total payment for your software. So most of the time people are on the monthly plan. Let's shift over there so that we actually see the monthly per month charge. Basic, what do we get? $25 a month. Pro, $119 a month. Business, $395 per month. Now notice that you're getting some AI credits included, and there's also a couple of features, but the features are generally pretty light. Custom domain at basic, conditional form logic, Softr API and MCP access. Get up to Pro, you get to remove the Softr branding, you do the Google sign-in, you can have advanced user actions. And then up at Business, you get a filtered user sync, two-factor authentication, domain restricted setup, etc., etc. Now, of course, Softr still does have an enterprise as well. You can schedule a call, talk to them, and they'll put a custom plan together for you. But I mentioned those three numbers, the builder, the team, and the client users. Well, in order to see them, we have to click on usage limits. This is where you're going to see how many different users you're allowed to have inside of these different tiers. Basic, Pro, and Business. We get the one builder on Basic with 5 team members plus 5 clients. So a total of 10 external users and 1 builder. In the Pro tier, 2 builders included, and by default, 10 team and 50 client. And then on the Business tier, 3 builders included with 30 team members and 100 external clients accessing the app. Now, something to call out, you can always add more users. Depending on the tier that you're on, the cost of the additional builder goes up or down. And similarly, you can add additional app users as well on those custom plans. So let's get real. Is this good or is this bad? Well, the truth is kind of in the middle. The cost of Softr has gone down for people who are not using Softr extensively. So if you have a small application, you are probably on a $50 a month plan. You can reasonably now cut your bill in half, go down to $25 a month, and be on that new basic plan. On the other end of the spectrum, if you had a massive app that was used by hundreds, if not thousands of people, Softr just got a lot more expensive for you. So why would they make this change? Well, basically, Softr identified the fact that people weren't paying for the value they were getting out of the tool. Being realistic here, if you have thousands of people accessing your Softr application, it makes sense that you would pay more versus somebody who has only 10 different users getting in or out of the application and very light workflows. Softr also identified that it was being used for vastly different reasons. External applications versus internal apps, these are totally different use cases. And Softr's pricing now reflects the different user types. With the new pricing comes greater flexibility in the way that growing teams can use Softr. And the prices are built so that as you use Softr more and actually get more value out of the applications that you've built in it, well then, of course, your cost will grow with your use of the software. Now, one exciting thing to call out is pay-as-you-go billing. You do not have to buy additional buckets of users in advance. And your app won't just stop working if you have one more user than the threshold. The way that it works now, if you go over your number of users in a particular category, you're just going to see an increase on your next bill for the additional users over the threshold that you had. It's also worth noting that there is a 7-day grace period before those charges apply. So if you notice that you have added maybe too many users, be sure to scale that back within 7 days and you won't incur any charges. Now, we said this already, but it's worth saying again that if you already have a paid Softr plan before August 20th, 2026, nothing is changing about the way that your plan is working within Softr. This is only for net new Softr customers, new clients that are coming in and building net new accounts on Softr. Now, one great piece of news is that Softr has increased the discount that it gives to nonprofits. They used to offer a 30% discount for all of their self-service plans. That is anything other than the enterprise quote that you get when you talk to their sales team. So now they've increased that from 30% all the way up to 50%. So if you're a not-for-profit using Softr, your bill just went down by 20% increase on your discount. There are also 3 very important rules for you to understand about how users are counted in Softr now. Number 1, if you have the same email address across several different applications in Softr, all in the same workspace, that only counts as 1 user. So if you've invited the same person to, let's say, 5 different apps, that's not 5 users, it's 1 user across your workspace. Number 2, deactivated users do not count against your user threshold. So if you had a user that you then deactivated and you didn't delete their information because you still wanted there to be a history of that user, they just don't have access today, well, that user does not count as a user. So no worries there. You're not going to be billed for people who don't have access currently. So use deactivation to your advantage. Deactivate users so that you're not overpaying for your applications. And number 3, only the basic tiers and higher are the ones that count the users separately. If you're looking at the free plan, then it doesn't matter if they're internal team or external users. It's all kind of one bucket still. This only matters once you're on a paid plan, starting at basic, going up to pro, and then ultimately the highest self-service, which is the business tier. So that is the only time that you have to worry about the difference in user counts. Again, on a free account, you're not going to get a ton of access, but it's the perfect sandbox for you to start playing around to figure out if Softr is going to do it for you. But I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments what you think about the new Softr pricing changes. Are they a little confusing to you still? Did you actually get to save money on your monthly bill with Softr, or are you paying more now? Leave me a comment and let me know. I hope you got a ton of value from the video. Of course, if you did, subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up so that you see more content like this. We will stay on top of this as this story develops. Of course, most importantly, keep on building.